All right, thank you very much for showing up. We're gonna start talking about one of the program of Exim Bank. Keep in mind that we have many available that will help your company growth, either export or import. So this is all about export import one and medium term. So let me make sure that I have the right. Let me yes, confirm I have the right one. Yeah, we're ready to go. Okay. Sorry, this program changed all those different um, buttons. All right, good. So Export-Import Bank is the United States government, and many times it works as an insurance or as a guarantee, and it's all about exporting goods from the United States. So I want to acknowledge some of the team members that they're present now, or they're active. Um, Donald is in Georgia. Um, Kogjar is in California, also taking care of some of the deals in New York. And here in Florida, we have Veronica, Carla, Valeria, and Gloria, of course. So those team members, you feel free to reach them. So they're part of the team. So they're very knowledgeable too. So let's talk a little bit about who we are. It's important. I always say that you can have experience on any business. You can have 30 years experience, but sometimes you either have 30 years experience or you have 1 year repeated 30 times. So in our case, we do have 20 up to 30 years experience. I went back to my documents to my different seminars of the company, and we started as a Luis G. Castillo Inc., then was converted into Global Trade Insurance, and we've been with Export program for many years, doing deals all over the world. So we are independent agent. We don't work for Exim Bank. However, Exim Bank doesn't have Salesforce. So it means that if you contact Exim Bank and you request help, they're gonna send the deal to us anyway. So and if it's Georgia, we're gonna send it to Donald. But the rest of the other states, but they're gonna send it to the company. So which is Donald's part of the company too. But then we're gonna take care of and we're gonna structure it. So we're like the first contact in the deal. The reason behind is because we wanna teach you, we wanna tell you what all the different alternatives, not only Exim Bank. We do have other options, but every other option has to do with insurance or guarantee. We don't do what the bank does. We do other type of financing, with other type of risk mitigation. It has to do similar to the one we're going to be talking about. So we are the primary contact in the deal, and we're gonna help you to be in an ethical way, a professional way, how to manage your deal as an exporter or as an importer, because sometimes we have different policy, insurance, and guarantee. That it depends where it's going to be placed. So we have been recognized, as one of the top producer of the nations. Exim Bank has, I believe, about 40, 50 brokers in the nation. You're willing to contact anyone. I don't know how many of them they speak Spanish, but we do speak Spanish here. So lately in 2026, the most recent, we're a gold tier broker. We also this year with one more, the third time, we we are we are member of the advisory council member for brokers, which is what we do there. We're trying to change different rule of the game. We're trying to change different policies. There is a lot of good news coming up that we'll be discussing and the different meetings, but they're going to be announced sometimes in next week when it's going to be the convention. So it's a very, very cool thing to be part of them. So it's a very simple way that since I've been for so many years, I mean, I'm not good in technology. I don't have the AdWords. I don't have anything advertised in the company. So, but because we've been doing it for so many years, if you write on Google Luis Castillo Eximban, you will show what the first link is going to come up is one with a link. So when you click the link, it's gonna see that our company uh, is our information is inside the government website, which is the exim.gov. Sometimes I say, why do I have to say this? And I'm saying recently, because sometimes people they don't understand how Eximon works, that you need an agent to help you out, so they give you different with options within Exim, or people they don't understand that that the way to do it is, let me just put somebody in. So sometimes people they don't believe that this is possible because some other government agency they don't work as Exim Bank. So think about SBA. SBA, you don't go to SBA, you go to a bank, and then the bank goes to SBA. Here, same thing, but you go to the broker first, and then we put you together with whoever might what program is going to be best for you. So, so we have done seminars around the world, mostly in this hemisphere, which is Latin America and Caribbean. Yes, because we're nearby, and we had done also in Miami. You see, we have the most recent was El Salvador, Guatemala, Chile. Those three were after COVID. Obviously, COVID time we didn't do much seminars, but we're planning to do two more seminars also. But we go back to 2003 doing seminars, so that give you an idea that we've been doing this for a long time. Yesterday, I had a meeting with the Department of Commerce in Dominican Republic, and we were laughing that we've been working together and the same people there for more than 20 years. So it's very nice to know that people are still active there for so many years. So we're working on future seminars. It's not decided yet, so we're still working on it, but we're looking into Argentina, Dominican Republic. We're working on it. So we'll let you know when it come up. We might change it. We might go to another country. But this is yes and the plans. Is to the reason because Argentina was recently open with Exim Bank, February 3rd. El Salvador was open, so right away we went there. Dominican Republic is because we have a lot of good deals and friends there, and we're working on it. So we know you have options. You have different options to get financing. Self-finance. Many companies either they just use their own money, but sometimes it's a higher return on the investment because sometimes if you finance yourself, but your return of the investment of the markup of your product is 20%, so you better use somebody else's money. So, and then you can put your money to work in a different way. So, factoring sometimes, yes, it's a high cost. It's good for a company they're new, but they're only short term. Right now, we're going to be talking about medium term. Also, you have letter of credit. Letter of credit, you have to do kind of deposit, give a collateral. I mean, it's a little more. It's as expensive as factoring, but because you have a issuing fee, then you have a confirmation fee, and the whole thing. Then it's limited to whatever the buyer can provide letter of credit. So, and also you have the bank financing, which are the best. But sometimes the bank, what they do, they go to the financial statement and they give you a gap. And this is where we come into the deal. Imagine you're an exporter. If you're exporter, but somebody comes to you and tells, listen, I want to buy $2 million, $3 million in equipment. How you gonna finance it, or how your buyer's gonna finance that? I mean, so sometimes it's kind of difficult for you as a company, if you're a small company, to get a loan so you can produce that and then you can sell it. But then your buyer has to find some kind of financing. That's when what we're gonna be talking today is all about that your company can grow, and so also bank financing gonna look at your ratios. In this case, what is not. Now, how are we gonna do that? We're gonna do that with the helps of this Exim Bank. Exim Bank um, is not the World Bank. Well, sorry, it's in Spanish, and the bid also is not. So those are two multilateral. In reality, what we are is export credit agencies. Now, when you talk about export credit, also exists the export credit insurance. They're two that goes hand to hand. Export credit agency is a government. Export credit insurance, they're private. We manage both. This industry has been for more than 150 years. So it's nothing new. If for some reason this is the first time you hear this, it's because you have been not been communicated about. So that's why you are here. So thank you for coming. So it's nothing new. So we know there is a supply chain, buyer and sellers, and that's sometimes the bottleneck is running either from the supplier to you, you're the seller, or maybe you're the buyer in this meeting, but you want to help your seller to get financing or to make the transaction going. So we just help you with the bottleneck. Bottom line is price, quality, and service. Those are only three reasons that people knows you as a seller can sell more. However, if you're a buyer, I mean, so you want those three, but most important is one more. This financing. What about if your seller give you financing, you're gonna buy more? Or what about you as a buyer? You get this financing medium term we're gonna be talking about. Now you're gonna be able to look for different buyers in the United States. So that's the solution we're gonna give you. So there are different programs that Exim. The one that we explain in details during our seminars. These are the three. So we're gonna go over these three first during the first year that we had the initiative to having these seminars. So you can get a snapshot, something very quick, so you know what is available. We're gonna be talking today about medium term or long term. So what does that mean? Means that we want to finance 85% of the invoice. Let's think you're because in this transaction, we're talking to either the seller who's going to be able to sell something that is a large transaction, or you are the buyer maybe, because I saw some people from another country in the meeting. So let's say you are the buyer, and now you want to say, hey, I want to buy an equipment. The equipment costs a few $1 million. Let's say it's $1 million. So 85% of the invoice we're going to finance. You're going to come up with 15% down payment. But we require that the amount we're going to finance must be 100% content USA and shipped from the United States. Let's say the product you're buying is only 70% US made. So we will finance only 70%. Let's say whatever product you're buying is 100%. So we're going to finance maximum 85%. Basically, that's what it is. Very quick explanation of the other two programs, which is we're gonna make it more details in the future. See, short term when we finance the buyer, and the short term when we finance or we provide insurance to the exporter. Short term is very similar to what we're going to be talking right now, medium term, but short term is a line of credit revolving, and this type of line of credit is when you buy a goods that you're going to resell. So that means that the end user is not the buyer. Now, medium term, the one we're going to be talking in this meeting, is that the end user is the buyer. So it means that the buyer will not resell the goods they're going to buy. They're going to use it in their own business. And the other one at the bottom is short term to the seller. We can provide an insurance to the seller, the exporter of the United States. We can provide an insurance, either private or government. We're talking about Exim Bank this time. So with Exim Bank, we can provide the insurance, and that insurance, we're going to endorse it to a financial institution. I say financial institution because not necessarily it's a bank. Bank, normally they're going to look into your financial statement, and you might say, hey, I'm a small company. I don't have a net worth right now. Okay, we'll find a solution. So we look for you other type of financial institution. It's going to be more expensive, yes, but it won't be more expensive than the letter of credit. And you as a seller can charge your interest rate or your cost to your buyer. So if you're a buyer and you want to buy a small amount, like $100,000, $50,000, you're right now in this meeting, contact your seller in the United States. Tell them, hey, I know a program from Exim Bank that I learned in a seminar. You can get financing for me. Now you introduce us to that seller. We're going to explain to that seller how it works. And then if the seller agree, then we're going to finance your seller so you can buy your products. Especially when it's a new company, the seller, or especially when the amount are small. But we're going to be talking about medium term and long term for now. All right. So far, we'll open I think there's no reason for a question, but just to let you know that, yes, at the end, I'm going to have question and answer, of course. I said before that we can either do insurance or guarantee. The whole thing is that this insurance or guarantee, the bank is going to be the beneficiary. The bank is going to be the one that is going to mitigate the non-payment risk of the buyer with this guarantee or insurance. So when you put a bank together with an insurance of X amounts, that means money available for the transaction. So the way it's going to work, we're going to pay the supplier or the exporter. So we mitigate the non-payment risk from the buyer. Medium terms means equipment of products that's going to stay in your company as an asset. We have done movie theaters. It's crazy, but what it is. I didn't put my other clients up. Chicken cages also we have done it. But we have trucks all the time. Crane, we did it recently in Panama. Is the largest one right now in Latin America. So the buyer is outside the country. And somebody people, oh wow, yeah, yes, we're gonna finance the buyer outside the company. We're gonna finance maximum 85%. It's a new loan. We're gonna talk about the terms and condition. I mean, and pretty quick. So you're gonna pay the seller 15%, or you can give us the 15% as a bank or the transaction. Most likely you will pay the seller give you the proof that you did made the payment, and then you're gonna start buying from the seller whatever products you're gonna buy. So then you're gonna pay us, and we're gonna give you normally 5, 10, 6, 7, 8 years. So this is one of the carrying that we did recently. You see how this is the largest one. That's to do the Panama tunneler. It's a tunneler to bring the tunneler down. So that's transaction we did recently. Depends on the amount. Is the amount? Two people waiting. All right. All right. Sorry, I have to. Okay. So back over there, we depends on the amount or the amount of the transaction is gonna be the time that we're gonna give you for your repay. If it's a $350,000 all the way to 7 millions, we're gonna give you 5 to 7 years. Any transaction that is over 7 years is considered to be a long term. Medium term is anything under 7. So sometimes we can go on airplanes. Also, we can finance the lease on an airplane. We can do up to 12 years. So that's all. It's going to be depend on the size of the transaction that we're going to build. We're going to give you the amount of years financing. So the exposure fee. Every country has a different exposure fee. Some of the countries, like this year, Argentina was open. El Salvador was open last year. We have Bolivia that is not open yet. We're hoping to open this year or maybe next. So they're starting getting involved into the Exim Bank. So the risk is going to be high at the beginning, but hopefully it's going to start coming down. So some countries like Chile, Canada, they're very low risk, so they don't have premium. But some of them they do. And these are premium. Remember, we use either insurance or guarantee. So the way that they pay this, we charge that percentage. We don't. I mean, Exim Bank, that's an exposure fee. Like I say, insurance guarantee. So that get charged, and it can be financed. So let's say, for example, Guatemala, 5%, round it off. If I give you a loan that's going to be $1 million, it's going to be 5 years, and I'm going to charge you exposure fee, 5%. So this means it's going to be like a 1% per year. So if we give you an interest rate of 6%, so your all included is going to be about 7%, just for you to do the calculation. So means that that exposure fee, it gets paid according to the use of the funds, but if you analyze it, it's about 1% in Guatemala. So that's exposure fee. That can be changed at any given time. And it's going to be calculated by Exim Bank, but by the underwriter of Exim Bank. The transaction is going to be payments every 6 months. So automatically you have your first payment is going to be in 6 months after you get the product. Remember, we don't pay you cash. We pay the supplier. We pay the 85%. So do we have a grace period? Yes, up to 2 years, but that's the pain of the product. It has to be related to the product. Electrical plant, for example, it takes a while to put it together. So we're going to give you possible more than 6 months. But if we're going to send you a truck, definitely not. You don't need to. I mean, it takes less than 6 months to put it to work. But in addition to that, the interest rate could be adjustable. It could be fixed. When the interest rate, sometimes the fixed interest rate is lower than the adjustable, or vice versa. Is everything what we expecting, what is going to be, what we expecting the rate to be in the future? That's has to do. So, for example, right now the interest rate could be like a 6.25, But if you go with the adjustable, it could be 6.5. And the reason is because we're expecting the rate to come down. So now the market is asking to lower on the fix. But at the time that we're getting to close, you're going to get those two options. So you decide which way you want to go. So we don't have deductible. Like I know sometimes you think about insurance. Insurance, you might thinking about, okay, car insurance, home insurance, life insurance. There's no deductible here. And collateral is the product. However, the banking system, remember, Exim Bank, what it does, most of the transaction, it's not a bank, even though it has a name of a bank. Exim Bank uses insurance and guarantee. And those instruments, they are endorsed to a bank or a financial institution. There is a company that called PEFCO. PEFCO buys all the loans from Exim Bank, and PEFCO was created for Exim Bank. PEFCO is like a Fannie Mae, Ginnie Mae, which is what they do is a pool on investment that banks invest there. So Exim Bank, most of the time, it doesn't act as a bank. I mean, occasionally, yes, but we're talking very, very large transaction. And when they cannot be even syndicated, they cannot even syndicate the transaction. So that means that the products are collateral, but the bank, most of the time, by United States rules, they like to get a personal guarantee. So you're going to see that they're going to ask for personal guarantee. That's very common. And obviously, because the collateral is a product, your company is going to be guaranteed. So that's basically the way it works. Let's consider the structure also that you can transfer the risk. Some companies, they might don't have the 15% down payment, but you get a loan or you get another company, or maybe the company doesn't qualify. If the company that is applying, it doesn't qualify, we can have another company that could be the collateral. Obviously, we need to have some affiliation, so the other company can be the collateral or can be the one that's going to qualify, but still we can give the loan to the applicant company. Also, we can use equipment. That's normal, but we don't wanna do very old equipments. The reason because equipment they have two lives. The first original life and also the second life, which is gonna be the one that after you do any repairs we're gonna consider both life, but most of the time it's gonna go with the original life. But let's say some trucks, equipments that's like a 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Yeah, those could be acceptable. And we can be co-financed. Let's say that because we finance only 85%, so the other 15% could be a loan that you receive from another bank in another country. That's acceptable. And it gradually used. Let's say we give you $1 million, easy number. $1 million you can use at the time of the closing, $500,000, and then you can use the other $500,000 in 6 months and 4 months. Normally, we don't do more than 5 years to be gradually. So what do you need as a company to get the documents? Normally, we like to ask for more documents that really require, because we're as an agent or broker of Exim Bank, we're responsible for the due diligence. We want to make sure there's no fraud, there's nothing incorrect, and that's it, and the deal. So we're going to ask for normal things that any bank will ask, like a financial statement, constitution of the company, sales projection, resume of the owners, that they're 20% or more ownership, profile of the company, and things like this. We're going to ask the auditor questionnaire. We're going to try to understand your way of functioning as a company with a questionnaire that we send it to you. We ask the embassy to do a company profile, which is there is a credit report. So if you notice all these documents that I just provided or they mentioned to you, these are documents that you have in your company. However, the other documents we're going to request that you don't have it, that you have to get it from a third party, those are credit reference, bank reference, and personal reference from banks. We don't want to ask for business plan, feasibility study. However, we need to know how you're going to use the product. Remember, we're talking medium term. We're not talking project finance. We do projects. Yes, we do project finance. But project finance, different from medium term, is that when you have a project, it's based on future income and future net worth. But when you have a medium term, long term, which is what we're talking about, it's based on what your financial statement qualified today. I'll give you yes the first the first uh, Golden ratio. It's not a ratio, but the first guideline that you can look at it is that your net worth, then balance sheet net worth, maximum we're gonna finance is gonna be 50%, and then it's gonna be another 7 ratios that we're gonna run in the financial statement, and we're gonna tell you how much you qualify. Now, in Latin America and Caribbean and other countries, your net worth could be larger than the balance sheet net worth, or vice versa. I'll give you an example. There is a return earnings that you do in your private company every year. The return earnings is exactly the profit you got from last year. So that return earnings keep growing every year. Because it's growing now, your net worth keep growing. Possible you don't even have a warehouse, or possible you don't. I mean, doing a, like a exaggeration example. Possible you don't have an asset. I mean, a tangible asset, but your return earning is growing. So you're creating a net worth every year. So the net worth that we're going to look into it is going to be the balance sheet net worth, not necessarily the tangible, because those tangible, they might have a depreciation in the balance sheet. They start coming down. So we don't do like the banks does in your country, which is they're gonna see your warehouse, they're gonna see your office, your building, whatever you own, and they take the assets, the assets that you have, and then they're gonna get the loan from there. We don't do that. This is a business loan. So when it comes to project finance, yes, we don't want to get into that, but yes, keep in mind that to structuring, you have to have all the pieces together. You have to have the supplier from one end, the sales that you're gonna do, the different contracts, because remember, your company is not functioning at that time. It's a project. So most of the time when we have a project, we're trying to convert that into a medium term or to a long term, because project finance is not known if we're going to close. But when we have a medium term or long term, if we go through the financial statement and we see the amount qualified, it's very difficult not to qualify that company, unless it's something that we don't know that you haven't tell us, and we're going to find out. One example that happened to us in Peru, we had a company approved, and when we had the credit report, we learned that the company had other debt that did not show on the financial statement. When you run the EBITDA divided by the debt service, there is a ratio minimum that we need, but because the new debt came on board, and the legal documents, it shows that the company owed that money, so now your ratio failed, and we could not approve. So think like this: if you don't let us know, we cannot tell you for sure. So we're gonna do some due diligence. So basically that's what it is. So I hope you have question. If you're not, great. So here's the information, the website, and you can contact the agents that you show there, that yes provided to you earlier. So let me just bring it up if anybody has questions. So please unmute yourself and let me know.
Luis, this is Mario Sarabia. How are you?
Mario, how are you, man?
Good, very good presentation, Luis. I think it's a quick question, okay? So if I am a seller in the United States, right, and I have a buyer in Ecuador, let's say I sell computer equipment, and I have an opportunity for $500,000, right? Uh, so if I don't qualify in the U.S., can you also try to qualify the buyer in Ecuador, or you cannot?
Yes, the trick is this. The question are this. First of all, we need to ask that transaction is a medium term or is a short term.
Uh-huh.
Now it means that if your buyer gonna buy your goods, is gonna keep it in this business to operate, or short term will be if your buyer is gonna resell those goods. So which
Okay.
transaction would it be?
Probably it's very likely that they will resell.
They want to resell it. So that's a
Yeah.
short term. With
Yeah.
short term, we have the Exim Bank, which is an insurance. You can qualify.
Hmm.
We're gonna give you insurance to your company here. It depends also the size of the transaction. So if the size is like under 300,000, I mean, it's better if you get the insurance from Exim Bank. We're gonna do the policy, and then we're gonna endorse that policy to a bank or to a non-bank. So they are non-bank, a little more expensive, but we're still gonna do the transaction.
Okay.
If the transaction is like $1 million or larger, now we can go to your buyer, and we're gonna give them a line of credit, similar requirements of the one that you just saw, but it's gonna be a revolving line of credit. Means that your buyer outside United States is gonna have, let's say, $1 million, and it's gonna be revolving. Once he buys it and then he pays back, then it's available again.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
have
we
your
have those
contact,
two
so
options.
yeah,
Yeah, so we
perfect.
can
Thank you. Okay.
structure in
I mute
different way.
myself. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody else has any question? We're open. I see a
Yeah, hi,
hand.
Luis. This is Patrick Sheets. I was calling regarding and having a question about Cameroon. Do you lend there to Cameroon area?
There is a link. Let me try to share it so you can look at it also. Let me try to share it just to make it easy for you guys. There's a link with an Exim Bank. I'm trying to get into this. That you can look at any country. It's available. Let me see. Let me move this over here. This is the website of Exim Bank. So when you go there, you can just come here, go into resource, country limitation. Then you go Cameroon. Boom. There is a different notes. If you don't understand those notes, that's why we're here to help you. That's why we're the brokers and records. But we open in Cameroon up to 7 years. That's mean only medium term, no long term.
Got it.
And yeah, Cameroon is open.
Excellent.
We can do that.
Thank
We can
you.
do that. And any country you look for it, it's going to be right here. Some of them is going to say no. Believe it or not, but China is open. So you see, chat is closed. We don't do it. Sometimes it tells you that, hey, we're open. We might consider it. This is for the government. No, because if you notice here, it says public and public sector. So public sector, we're completely open. There is no chance. But it says the government wants to get some transaction, we might consider. So, and when it comes here to IMF, that's something tricky that IMF usually they put when they provide a loan to those countries, they give them a restriction. The restriction is that you can only get loans non-concessional debt. Non-concessional debt means that the loans under 2%. Exima will not work that way. So that means that we might need a waiver. That would be when something like this. But you can go there and you can look at any country.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, we're
Appreciate
open.
it.
Yes, you're welcome. Any question? Okay. I think you can unmute. You can unmute yourself. Who's this? Sekola?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, Sekola. How are you?
How are you doing? Yeah,
Very
fine.
well.
Thank you.
Yeah, good
Thanks
to hear.
for the informative and educative discourse. I appreciate it all.
Yeah.
My question concerns what needs to be clarified. We are a processing company, poultry, turkey and chicken. Well, we are very new, but we have an ongoing relationship with a company in the US. They do most of the things we want to buy. But at the same time, we know that these products are not common yet in Nigeria. So we also want to be their agent for its distribution. They deal in cold room, solar cold room, and equipment. So it sounds like from your lecture, it looks like a combine. I want to find out whether it's there is a combinable opportunity for short-term and medium-term loans, or we have to separate it. That's my question.
Good. So the good thing, Sekola, Nigeria is open, so we're open for business there. And when you say you want to buy for the production of chicken, what are you buying? Cages to
For
produce?
setting up the chain of equipment. Majorly, we are looking at buying
But what kind of equipment?
storage, cold room storage equipment.
Oh, cold storage.
Cold room storage equipment.
Okay.
Cold room,
storage. So
then
really
distribution,
you're gonna sell the chicken. That's what you're gonna
and
do.
the trucks, distribution trucks of the product.
Okay, so
Excuse me?
you're gonna grow the chicken, and then you're gonna sell the meat. That's what it is. That's the process. So
Yeah,
you want a
we will
processing
build
plant.
a processing plant. We are trying to set up poultry processing plant. And when you say the processing plant, the vital part is actually the cold room storage. When you say cold room storage too, it requires cold trucks distribution. You know, we need the refrigerated trucks.
All right, all right. So
Also, so it's a chain. It's a chain of equipment that is required.
got it. So means that you need something as an operation in your company. You need something that is a medium term, because obviously, if you buy $1 million, it's
Excuse
going to
me?
be hard to sell it in a short term, right? So that would be something
Yeah.
that you need that. So, so if you're looking for something like that, you need the medium term. You will have to send the financial statement for the last 3 years to see what the cost of where you're gonna buy. If your company is new, would not qualify. Medium term and Exim Bank requires 3 years financial statement. So you have an option
Okay.
that either find a partner if you don't have it, and the partner could be the guarantor, and we're gonna look at the financial statement. Or if your company qualified, then we're gonna continue with the medium term. Now there is another
Okay.
way.
That sounds good.
Yeah, there is another way which is a little more risky, but it's still risky to you, but doable. And I have a company who does chicken cages. And somebody, okay, all right. But what it is an exporter can sell you. We give line of credit to exporter, and the exporter can sell you the goods on a short-term basis. Because you're the end user, you could get it for 6 months or maybe 9 months or whatever it is. Let's say 6 months. But what you can do if you don't qualify for medium. Okay, let me shut it off this. Okay. If you qualify for medium term, perfect. That's the best program. But let's say that you don't qualify, or whoever doesn't qualify. Another option is that we can have an exporter financing to you on a short-term basis. And since you know the equipment already in advance before it goes to your country, you can go to a bank in that country and tell Mr. Bank, I have this equipment coming up and I want you to finance it for me for 5 years. Your bank is going to say, Mister, you have to get the equipment first here. You have to bring it over here, me to see it, and then I'll give you the financing. So that's what this kind of loan with the exporter might work, because it's a short term. So we can send it to you. You have 6 months to pay back to the exporter, but you have 6 months for you to get financing in your country. Your country, maybe they're gonna give you finance based on the value of the product and not necessarily the value of your company. But if you do that, now you got financing in your country, but you got the product already in US. When the Panama expansion was done, we did a lot of transactions with Panama. Panama is a good market for financing, so they didn't need the financing for Exim Bank, but they need the product to be in their country so the bank can use as a collateral and then do the financing. That would be if a company doesn't qualify for a medium term. But now, if your financial, let's say you need $1 million, and then your financial statement has a balance sheet net worth about $2-3 million, it will qualify with Exim Bank. Obviously, we have to run some other parameters, for all the ratios that we have to run into it. Yeah, so you have those different options. And let me just tell you, that works also when somebody sells houses in other countries. That's a very good structure. That right now we're doing one in I have to do a letter of interest in one country in Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast, we're gonna give them about $500,000 revolving line of credit. But what they're gonna do, they're gonna build the house. The buyer is already approved that to buy the house, and then once they build it, then they sell it, and then they use it again. So that's a short term, the correct way to use it. But if you have a banking already to take over the debt, obviously you can combine that. Yeah. But yeah, send us the financial statement. We'll be glad, no cost, do the ratios and let you know if we qualify. If it doesn't, we'll let you know in advance. No worries. Any other question? We have some anyone that want to bring. Remember, the worst question is the one that is not you don't make.
Yeah, Louis, Patrick again. How about your minimum and maximums that you allow or work with?
When it comes to medium term, we like to see, and the reason is the appetite of the banks to understand. Exim Bank can go, like you saw that chart, they can go $50,000. But in reality, Exim Bank will not do $50,000. It's only that they open. But you have to, but then after we get it approved by after we know the ratio works, we have to go to a financial institution or a bank. There is no appetite for a bank for $300,000 or less. Exceptional, let's say a company that qualified for $10 million, but the company only need 200,000. Then the bank might say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go through that just because it's a large company, they might need it in the future. So it's all depend. Answering your question directly, to the point, if it's a medium term, it's about $300,000 is about the minimum. And now when it comes to short term, the same thing. But the short term, remember, there are two types of short term. The short term that we're going to finance the seller, the buyer directly outside the United States, that would be the same thing, about $300,000. But there is a note, let's say you have somebody that is $100,000 is asking for, right now I have somebody from Panama. They wanted $200,000, didn't qualify. We might give them only like 100 of, we end up that $50,000 will be good for him. So I said, look, send me what you need specifically, and I'll bring it up to an exporter that already have a credit with us. Our exporter already has set up the financing with Exim Bank. So that exporter might be interested and do the financing to you. So in that moment, we're not involved in the financing with the buyer. We're involved with the seller, and the seller will give the financing. So our client in reality is the seller. I mean the seller, which is the one who has the policy insurance. So if it's a short term, it could be almost there is no minimum. Yeah. And the medium depends on the banking appetite. Because remember I said Exim Bank, that mostly they don't work as a bank, they work more as an insurance or guarantee. Yeah.
And also one other last question is, as a broker, is there a way to still get paid through XM or not?
If you a broker, yes. Definitely yes. We in most of the transaction we get paid by the Exim Bank. But we don't work for the Exim Bank. But we get paid by the Exim Bank. And that's what Exim Bank wants, because they don't want to have a sales force. Keep in mind that because it's insurance system, they're like a small drops. We get paid I don't want to say very little, but we don't get like a large amount. Yeah. But yes, we do. And
But for me as a broker coming and bringing a transaction to you, is there a way for me to get paid on that?
Yeah, if you're in the United States,
Yes.
there is a license that you need to get. And first of all, I'll send you a video so you can see how it works. And there's a license that you need to get, which is a credit insurance license. It changed for different states. We'll help you out with that. Yes, you can become part of the team.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Any other question that you may have here? I think somebody had their hand raised, but no, it went down. All right, perfect. So I think that's good. Then I have some question. I like that. So at least we have a active audience. Perfect. So I appreciate that everybody's coming to this meeting, and look forward to. Normally we do at the end of the month, Friday, end of the month. But this next one most likely is going to be May 8th, because we had the convention of Exim Bank on the 28th, 29th, and they might come out with, they will. It's coming up. Good news. um, different structures, things like this. So from those news, I want to bring it up to the next meeting, all the news that happened at Exim Bank on the next meeting. So most likely we're going to talk about, if there is a lot of good news, so possible, we don't want to talk about a specific program, but we might talk about all those different news, how it's going to affect and how it's going to help us most likely. But that's going to be May 8th. I think it's a Friday. Yeah, Sekola, you had another question?
I really would like to know, because I have a company in US that we are already talking, but I was going to ask you if I could mention Exim Finance, because they are interested in dealing with us. Now,
Okay.
can I just discuss with them? Maybe they can get the get to discuss if they
Yeah,
can
yeah.
open up credit, then they can.
Can you tell me about how much is the transaction that you're looking for?
Yeah, I will do that, and I
Yeah,
know not immediately now,
yeah, okay. So
because
once,
we are scared. Because I will tell you something. 1 second, please. In Nigeria, the banks, they are not doing banking services at all. Because the ownership are individuals who are businessmen. So they don't seem to flow with the global trend. I'm sorry to say that. So what we want to do is, like you explained to me, the banks there here in Nigeria might not be. Maybe if they see the products, I will discuss with them. But we prefer to look at the midterm loan, because we have a viable, whatever. Maybe when you study our papers, it will be worthwhile. But we know we are already talking to a company that does the solar products, and they even have their presence in Nigeria. They just started, but they are not manufacturing yet in Nigeria. So
yeah,
I was just going to write them and discuss the Exim Finance so that they can have a transaction.
yeah, yeah. Don't
What,
feel bad.
what,
Go ahead.
excuse me?
I said, don't feel bad.
So,
Many countries they're like that too. They're not open banking. They're not very friendly, especially for
it's
small,
not.
medium-sized companies. Yeah, don't feel bad. We see that all the time.
So, because what we want to do, we are sure, that it's going to fly. So, we have been talking to the US company, because their products, if there are ways we can buy from them, and maybe the guarantee, whatever we have to do to secure guarantee, we will do it. Because I tried to talk to International Financial Corporation, because they advertise that they can provide guarantee. I don't know whether, if we are trying to get Exim Finance, can we talk to IFC for guarantee?
Yeah, my suggestion to do, uh, send us the financial statement. Let's see
Okay.
what you have in your hand, and from there, then we can find the right structure. And I
Okay.
always say that
All right.
anytime we're going to look for financing, you need to structure the deal. And when we present it to Eximan, we need to have the right structure. Do we going to finance you
Okay.
directly? Do we going to finance the seller? Let's say if we finance you, then we need to make you aware of the terms and condition that you agree with that. So once you know financial statement, let's say you don't qualify, then the next step will be send an email to the exporter, CC to us, and then we'll have a conversation with the exporter to explain them how it works. And if your exporter is in another state, we can always ask our broker relation
Excuse
of
me?
Exim Bank, and they can go visit them, just for them to feel comfortable that this is real. This is real stuff.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we can help
Sounds
you out.
good.
No, go
Thank
ahead.
you.
We can help you out. Sure. You send the email is to see how we're gonna structure it first.
Okay.
So we'll see. Yeah. All right. Perfect.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Thank
So
you much.
thank you, Segola. Good questions. So all right. So appreciate everyone. Only if you have another question, yes, I would like to answer that. But if not, let's keep on in mind May 8th. Hopefully we get a lot of good news. Yeah, we know we're gonna have good news. But yes. So I'll bring it up the news that are coming up. All right. So Have a good day, everyone. I'll see you the next time. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.